So to begin with, the challenge is between niyat and niti, right? There is no right intention over here by a government that is keen on making a property issue into a Hindu-Muslim issue. The Waqf issue is a property law issue. It's not a Hindu-Muslim issue. So in this property law issue, how can you make claims like somebody has to be Muslim for 5 years before donating to Waqf? Do you require this before somebody donates to a temple or to a Gurudwara? Tomorrow after I pass away, if I decide to leave my house to Bangla Sahib, can I be stopped from doing that? If I can't be stopped from doing that for a Sikh Gurudwara, why should I be stopped from doing that for a Waqf property? Now for the same rule to be applied to the Waqf properties as other properties, you have to consider that no other religious sort of endowment body has a stipulation of non-Hindus or non-Sikhs or non-Muslims into those respective bodies. So why should we have a separate standard for Muslims? Finally, more critically, why are there provisions like all Waqf properties need to be registered within 6 months? There are 5 lakh Waqf properties. This is like demonetization. You put an arbitrary date so you know that people will default so you can grab those properties. So this is a land grab by the government of Waqf properties. More concerningly, what we've spoken about against, and my own MP Nidesh Lankeji in Parliament said this, and Fauzia Khan, who by the way is a Muslim woman who serves on Maharashtra's Waqf board, said, is that we oppose the centralization of the Waqf board. The Waqf board came under the state government, now you want to put it under the CAG. Why do you want everything to be centralized under the central government? This is again a consolidation of power that we're against. Will you have that for temples next? Will you have that for Gurudwaras next? Will you have that for churches next? We're worried for all religions. Because what you start with Waqf today, you will do for other religions tomorrow, and you'll centralize all of that power in Delhi. And that's precisely what we're against.
But here's the point. The point is that even today, people who are opposing the Waqf amendments in Parliament, say for example, a Lalu Prasad Yadav or AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi, all on record in the past, sometimes in Parliament, have criticized the functioning of the Waqf and said this needs a cleanup. Now, when the government is attempting a cleanup, it is being called a land grab by the government. Anish, is that fair?
Shreya, no, absolutely, because I'll tell you, anything to do with religious law is a very sensitive issue. Let me take you back to history, right? When the Hindu code bills were introduced by Baba Sahib Ambedkar in Parliament in the 1950s, it took months of public sort of outreach by Baba Sahib Ambedkar and others across the country to convince people of the rationale for these discourses and debates. You are applying the same principle of bulldozer justice. First you bulldoze homes, now you want to bulldoze institutions, and you want to bulldoze this through the parliament. Nobody is saying the Waqf doesn't need to be reformed. Of course it needs to be reformed. But at least listen to the other side, listen to legitimate concerns. You treat your political opponent as your enemy, and therein lies the problem.